Greetings and good afternoon from Savannah Airport. Today we are flying from here to Austin, Texas. Our plane will be departing out of Gate 9 in a bit, so we should head over there and rest before departure. To pass the time, I decided to head over and see what was going on outside. As I had experienced many times in the past, it's quite easy to pass the time as many airports are quite busy. Our plane was sitting at the gate having landed a little bit ago and was getting ready for the next leg of its travels to Houston. A baggage hauler made its way across the airplane parking lot, most likely either taking baggage to or from an airplane. Next to catch on camera was a passenger plane taking off behind our own plane. As the sign says here, we are due to board in 16 minutes, which means that we should probably start getting ready to board. These digital signs really come in handy when it comes to passengers knowing when to start lining up. Before boarding, I decided to go fill up my water bottle, only to discover that the actual water dispenser was out of order. I'm not sure why it was out of order, but it is what it is. I instead had to use the water fountain to fill up my water bottle, and the water fountains, despite the actual dispenser being out of order, actually worked perfectly. Returning to the gate, we soon line up and prepare for boarding. Unfortunately, we had to wait a little bit for a crew to show up in order to board. We were informed that the crew had only just gotten to the airport as we were lining up, but after waiting a little bit, the crew showed up and we could get on board. Getting on board, we were once again met with the same seating arrangement that I had come to know over the years. This was one of the older 737s, and it was clear that the interiors were definitely slowly starting to wear out. As we waited for departure, a Delta airplane soon pulled in on the next gate down. Delta is an airline that I have become very familiar with along with Southwest Airlines, and is the one that I've usually been flying when I'm flying internationally. After some waiting, we pull out of the gate, beginning our first 2-hour segment to Houston.
Back the tray table, not full, upright, and locked position. On our current items securely underneath the seat in front of you, leaving the area around your seat cleared. As you know, smoking is not allowed on board. Federal law does prohibit the tampering with, disabling, or destroying with smoke detectors, and no craft lavatory.
On our taxi, we soon pass a yard full of fighter jets, with some flying in and out every now and then. This was probably people training in fighter jets, probably either for air shows or for fighting. As we made our ascent, our view was once again blocked by some thick clouds, but after a little bit, we soon broke through the clear blue skies above. Let's go over what the seat offers. We get the same amount of legroom that you find on most airlines here, with a small amount of space between legroom. There's just enough space to stretch out beneath the seat and get comfortable. The tray table folds down from the seat in front just like on any aircraft. However, I started realizing that these are slowly starting to show signs of wear and tear on the older 737-800s. Above the seat are reading lights which can be controlled via the buttons next to them, as well as air vents for keeping cool at high altitudes. I now have figured out what the button on this armrest here does. The button here allows the backrest to recline a little bit, however it doesn't really recline enough to create a huge difference in comfort. Pushing the button again allows the seat to go back into its normal upright position. As usual, the safety information card for the Boeing 737-800 is located in the seat back pocket over here. The seats are padded pretty well and work well enough for flights that take less than 3 hours. The armrest isn't padded super well and is rather hard. At least it can fold up to allow for easy egress and entrance. The clouds were mostly just in small patches for much of our flight to Houston, with the ground visible below us. We were again too far up in order to get a good look at the ground. I would have been able to get a much better look at the ground had the Amtrak Gulf Coast service still been around. The Gulf Coast service was wiped out in Hurricane Katrina as a section of the Sunset Limited between LA and New Orleans. If it had been still operating, I probably would have chosen to take it if I had the time. As we made our way through the sky, the snack service soon began. Offered was a bag of pretzels, which were pretty tasty and made for overall a pretty decent snack, although again, they weren't the best, which doesn't surprise me as airline food is never the best. It's now time to do something that I have never done before on this channel. Take a look at the bathroom on the plane. Bathrooms are located at each end of the plane, and similar to what I experienced on Amtrak's Sunset Limited earlier, are quite cramped. It was hard to get good footage of the bathroom as there didn't appear to be any light in there, as I didn't see any lights or switches. The bathroom overall wasn't at all that bad. It was pretty clean, and overall, it probably would have been able to do if I had to go to the bathroom on the plane. The soap was full, and the sink appeared to be in good condition, although I never tested it. The paper towel was full, making it easy to dry your hands after you wash them. As the sign on this blue button says, this blue button is used to flush the toilet. Warning, the toilet flushings are quite loud, so I suggest you cover your ears if you're going to do them. The clouds started to get a bit thicker below us as the ground became less and less visible. As we continued flying across the Gulf, the drink servicing began. As usual, I opted for a cup of water, which was refreshing. As I've experienced with almost every other flight in the past, there once again really wasn't much to see on this flight. I know I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Airlines may be fast, but they don't offer a great experience in terms of scenery, so I suggest that if people have the chance, they take the train. It may be slower, but it's much more fuel efficient, much more scenic, and overall, it's a much better experience. On approaching to Houston, the land slowly came into view, a sign that we were about to end our first segment. As we made our descent into Houston, I saw quite a bit of ships coming in and out of the bay. Houston is a major shipping area, the second largest in the U.S., so it makes sense that a lot of ships will be coming in and out all the time. With our plane now landed, segment 1 is complete. I didn't get a whole lot of footage of the airport as I had to make a tight connection. With our plane now parked at the gate, we can disembark into Houston. Our flight to Austin will be departing out of gate 45 in about 20 minutes, and I was looking for dinner before departure. I head to this small pizza place in the airport in an attempt to grab something to eat. Good thing it wasn't too far from the gate, as again, I had to make a tight connection. An old photograph was on the wall on the other side of the restaurant. Featured in the photograph was an old Douglas DC-3 and some other aircraft, perhaps either a Lockheed Constellation or DC-4 Workhorse. After getting the pizza, I headed back to the gate to have dinner. The pizza once again comes in this same sort of box that I have experienced many airport pizzas to come catered in. Opening the box, we are met with a very tasty piece of pizza. The pizza, as I've always experienced, is awesome. Yes, it may not be a whole lot of food, just one small piece, but it's very tasty and the cheese never ceases to disappoint combined with the sauce and the crust. Overall, it's a great way to get me refreshed for this next leg to Austin. After finishing up dinner, we soon line up in preparation for boarding. Hopping on board, we find that the next segment flight was from one of the new 737s. We were met with the same amount of legroom, with still a bit of space to stretch out and get comfortable. The tray table again folds down the seat in front, the same way on the old 737s, however this one looks way more fresh and in much better condition. A big step forward from the older 737-800s, the newer 737 MAX 8s have outlets which comes in handy when charging devices. I decided to take advantage of the outlets as my phone was running low on charge. The process of plugging them in was a bit tricky, but with a bit of strength I managed to plug it in. The sun soon set as we were waiting for departure, and it was a great sight to see. As good as it is, nothing can beat the sunset I experienced on my previous travel report on the Sunset Limited. The safety information card is placed in this seat back pocket up here instead of the seat back pocket down there. This allows the seat back pocket to have a greater capacity for holding devices. The button here, just like on the previous leg, can allow the seat back to recline a little bit. Again, it doesn't recline really enough to create a huge difference in comfort. After some more waiting, we soon pull out of the gate, beginning our final leg to Austin.
To the buckle, put a little strap to tighten. To release, lift up on the buckle. Position your seatbelt low and tight across your hips somewhere anytime you're seated.
The sunset over the airport was a great way to pass the time. I know air travel doesn't offer the best sights, but this is a pretty good sight. The cloud cover was much thicker on this leg than it was on the first leg, the clouds completely covering our view of the ground. I managed to get a bit of the orange reflecting from the sunset out of the corner of this window here, however I didn't get any good views of the actual sunset itself until we began our descent. About 20 minutes after departing Houston, we slowly began our descent into Austin. We finally get a great view of the sunset, however the clouds kind of got in the way a little bit. Right at around 8 p.m., our plane finally pulls up to the gate and we can disembark. Exiting the plane, we can head inside Austin Bergstrom International Airport, where we will bring today's video to an end. In the next video, I'll be right back here in Austin for a flight out to Boston, Massachusetts. If you enjoy my videos, I suggest you like and subscribe. I have some more cool videos planned in the future, so stick around so you don't miss them. Anyways, that does it for today's video. Thanks for flying with me, and I will see you next time. Take care.